right? Who she was and what she was going through and all these relationships. And really wanted to bring that to life and saw the fun in that. You know, the idea of bullying, I mean, certainly there is a wider awareness of bullying since there was in the time that, you know, De Palma made his movie and in the time that Stephen King wrote his book. So, you know, I certainly think that in some of the scenes there is an awareness by the teachers in the school, you know, that these phenomena happen and they have to be more aware of it. I can't give away plot details, but we have a whole really fun, dangerous through line of something that one of the girls does with some social media that builds and builds and builds until it climaxes at the end. And that's just a representation of the modern world, you know, what people are going through. I think, you know, perhaps what's been happening, you know, in our culture only makes the story more relevant. But, you know, you go to the movies to fall in love with a character and to be taken on a journey. So I think, hopefully, to be a good director is to be aware of all that stuff, but to let the audience, you know, fall into the story.
Thank you. Great question. Yes, right over here.
Hi. I was just curious exactly how involved Stephen King was with this production, if at all.
Yeah.
Stephen King, generally, as a rule, I think takes a hands-off process with the filmmakers and the people making the film in the day, but we plan on showing them the film. We're very excited. As I said, I think the thing that is special about this film is that Kim has harkened back to the book, as have Julianne and Chloe. So I think he'll be quite pleased and surprised.
Thank you.
All right, back over here.
This question is for anybody that's really up there.
All right.
That's everybody.
Do you have any tips for a young filmmaker who's trying to make a movie?
Filmmakers tend to do, yeah.
You know, my thing is just really, really find a character that you're absolutely wildly passionate about and a story that you absolutely love and get as inside of it as you can. You know, in addition to all your passion, like know your craft. Because, you know, I look at these two, you know, look at this guy and everybody. If you're going to do any good work, you know, in our business, you have to have the great passion, but you have to know what you're doing. So.
That was a great question, because if you don't know, ask, right?
Yeah.
And don't take no for an answer. That's the most important thing.
Thank you.
Thanks, I just heard that.
Yes, right here, center on.
Hi, I was also wondering about the idea of bullying and that's how that informed your movie. And I guess for me, I always wonder about the balance between portraying the bullied as sort of perfect, or in a movie like this, and obviously I haven't seen yours, the bullied is somebody who goes off the deep end. And so how do you kind of work with that? And I was also wondering if Julie had any favorite teachers that she might think about.
Hi, John.
Hi, Julie.
How are you? John is a teacher at my kid's school. Do you know what? I don't know if any of you have read Stephen King's book on writing. But it's a wonderful book. It really just talks about how he started writing and what he thinks about writing. And in it, he talks about the germination of the Carrie story. And he remembered two girls that he went to school with, and both were incredibly isolated. One by their parents' religious beliefs, and the other by poverty. And he talked about the repercussions of that, how isolated they were in school, how it continued into their adult lives, and sadly, neither one of them lived very long. But he took this really kind of big, important idea about social marginalization and put it in Carrie as an entertainment. And so, you know, as Kim was saying, we're not making a polemic here. You know, we're making a movie, an entertaining movie, really about adolescence and power and growing up and mother-daughter relationships. But in it, we're reflecting something that does happen in society and happens in schools. And like you said, I think very accurately, John, these people are flawed. And that's really important. You're seeing a very flawed mother. You're seeing students, high school students who are confused and conflicted. You see a girl, you know, Sue Snell, who tries to do better and oddly ends up making everything worse. But I think that one of the great things about Stephen King and about this story is that it allows us to participate in many different ways and sort of reflect on it rather than actually come up with an answer.
You bring up a really great thing, which is when you're developing a character, no, you don't want the person who's going to say hurt in the beginning, Carrie, to be perfect and to be all innocent. I mean, she has to be complicated, so you're engaged. But also, you know, like Julianne against it is like, well, the mother has her flaws, but also Sue Snell makes the wrong decision, and then Chris, the girl who's perpetrating it, you actually have to find the other side of her, which is where's her vulnerability, where's her innocence, and why does she keep doing it? That was one of the biggest questions that we looked at from the beginning, and we're like, how does this girl who starts throwing tampons graduate, right, to killing a pig and dumping pig's blood? And the only way you can keep the character active is if she has a whole other side to her. So they all need to be dimensional. And then you're pulled into the story, and that's more what life is like anyway. You know?
Well, it's what we have to find with the kids in schools, too. You can't see a, quote, bully as somebody who's completely evil.
No, exactly.
No, and they might be, but that's pretty rare. But right, you want to see, there are kids.
There's usually a reason for it.
Yeah, but you want to be, and also you want to go on the journey and see why it keeps escalating. Otherwise, the movie kind of stops.
Are you guys as freaked out as I am that we basically just had a parent-teacher conference?
That's
right. That was great. Thanks a lot. Give her a good grade. All right. Right over here. Yes, sir.
Hi. This question is for Chloe. I saw in an interview that you made the dress for Carrie in the movie, and I wanted to know if you added certain details to the dress that actually reflect the character that you put in Chloe.
I made a dress, but I'm nowhere near the amazing costume designers that actually constructed the dress.
She can barely sew.
Yeah. Didn't you make a bag?
She made a tote bag.
I made a tote. Yeah.
A tote.
I'm not a secret.
The Carrie line.
No, I did make some dress though.
I hope you come back next year for Kick-Ass 2.
Thank you.
So I have 3 questions.
Pushing you a lot, Corey. Look, they're already taking you down.
Okay,
right
one question. For everyone specifically, about how much blood do you think, how many liters of blood do you think you used during production?
He wants an exact number.
Not exact, though.
You know, that's actually when you're trying to get a job, I think, at an investment firm, they ask you questions like that. My friends in Harvard have said that. Well, let's say if it was 5 gallons per bucket, we did at least 50 tests, that's 250. We were doing, and then we were bloodying you up. I'm going to go with 1,000 gallons.
Okay. Let's call it 1,000 gallons.
1,000. You want more?
All right, thanks. All right, last question right here. Yes.
Hey guys, I was just wondering. You kind of talked about this already, but do you feel any pressure to recreate, like while recreating the script and the characters, like reimagining it? Do you feel any pressure to stray away from the original story, or like how everyone's going to react to it?
I mean, I'll talk for myself. I didn't feel any pressure. I think because I genuinely, only did the project because I fell so deeply in love with the story and just thought it was infectious, fun, terrifying, and great, and just thought I would do it in a way that, with a great team that was really a blast. So I respect the original, but I didn't feel any pressure. I mean, I feel pressure just to live up to doing a good story, and that's always challenging.
Well, I loved it. It looks really good. So I think it's gonna create its own art in the series.
Well, I remember when I was the first read through, and I want to give a shout out to Ansel, our Tommy, who's out there. Where is he? Anyway, right there. So when I saw Ansel and Chloe reading the scene at the prom, and Chloe's 15, Ansel's 18, and it was so exciting to see and so different, and it really kind of took me away. And I was a huge fan of the original movie, but I thought, wow, it was just great to see it reimagined.
All right, thank you.
It's an important thing to know is that, remember, the story is really about teenagers to some degree. So we talk a lot about the original movie, and there's a great nostalgic audience for it, but it's depicting the life and times of these kids who are experiencing it, and hopefully it'll be a metaphor for what kids are going through today. And I think that broadens the audience for everybody and makes it a richer experience that speaks to 2012, 2013, and isn't just a nostalgia trip. So you sort of have a little bit of everything.
Well, guys, I want to thank you, but before we go, Chloe, I understand that there's some sort of special way for people to get in touch with the white family. I don't know why they want to that.
Yeah.
But I understand there's something going on here. What's that?
There's a number that you guys can call, and it's to Carrie's house. And depending on who you call, at what time, you will either get Julianne, Margaret, or Carrie. It's just do it. It's fun.
See the phone number stuff on the screen.
Call
Write
it.
down,
Call it. Do it. Do it. It's scary.
They dare. Good job, Dairy.
It's spooky. Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot to Chloe, Julianne, Peter, and Kevin.